And I wanted to share some cool stuff with you. It's related to Trebuchet method, specifically to JSON Trebuchet. And what's interesting in my use case is that I've managed to create a Trebuchet logic with all CRUD operations without any helper tables. So let's look at all 4 operations one by one. And let's start with the use case. So we have a tutoring services app, which has contracts table, which is represents deals with schools, and it has a tutors table, and we can link multiple tutors to a contract. So it all would be nice if we just needed to link tutors by ID, and that was it. But the thing is that each tutor can have different rates on different contracts. So normally that would require a helper table, but since our contracts table is already a big table, and we also have packages table, which works the same way, and it already has like 6,000 rows, the link table would be enormous in size. That's why I've decided to leverage JSON for that. So we have a basic column that stores our JSON. You see that's just the tutors object with an array of tutors with key value pairs of ID and rates. And let's move on to adding records, right? So we have 2 columns for writing new tutor ID and rates, and we collect those values and build the JSON object with just the JSON template column. I like the template more than JSON object because it's more flexible, but whatever. And then we just append the new object to the existing array by this query. It basically tells us to append new object to array of tutors and wrap that into tutors JSON object, and we get this nice looking arrays. But what happens when we have nothing here? We cannot use that basic column for the query JSON column because it fails when parsing an empty string as JSON. So I've created the fallback JSON column that gives us an empty object in case we don't have anything. And if we move that here, we can see that when this column is based off of the fallback column, it works. So that's okay. Now for editing, that's the most complicated part, because when we edit something, we need to use this query. That's basically a transform operation in JSON, but it locates the tutor by ID in our JSON, and it replaces their ID with the new ID and rate with the new rate. And we can use that query in another query JSON column. And for reading and deleting, I was sure that I would need to set up a helper table, but actually I was able to do that right inside the tutors table, because we can always know which document, which contract we're looking at by just splitting the URL path. Then we can relate that to the contract or package and get the JSON from it, and write this query to get the rates by the ID of the row for this tutor. And also one cool thing that I've learned is that when we use a JSON array, like here, right, you can see that I'm just querying all the IDs from the JSON. We can use that JSON array to create a relation like we can with normal arrays, which is awesome. So we display this relation through a collection on the contracts screen, and we display the rates from the tutors table that are based on what contract we're looking at. So it's pretty neat. And also in the tutors table, we have this query that returns the same JSON object, but without the tutor with this ID, right? Because it says ID not equals this row ID, which is also a pretty neat way to delete records from the JSON. And so let's look at the front end, right? We have this edit tutors screen. We can edit Joseph Calise, rate 20, add it appears here. Let's add someone like Greg Conklin, Ray Tutty, and now we have him. Okay, let's try to add it, Joseph Calise, to another tutor. You see that I've configured the collection so it only displays the one tutor that we are editing, so it's not confusing. By the way, how I've achieved this is that we use one collection, but we filter that by records where row ID includes the row ID of the tutor we're trying to edit, which is neat because if we don't have anything there, any row ID includes emptiness, right? And if we have a row ID there, then it only matches one row, which is also pretty neat. Okay, let's try to change Joseph Calise to Maura Bertel. Save. You can see that it gets updated. Let's try to change the Greg Conklin's rates to, no, let's make it 10 times higher. Okay, it updated. Let's try to edit Maura Bertel to be now Casey Andrews and rate to 8. You can see that it's updating, and we can try to delete Greg Conklin, delete, and add someone like Sandra Day with the random rates, and then close the screen to see that we have the tutors here with their rates for this specific contract. I like how it turned out. Let me know what you think about it and if it's somehow helpful to you.